Hello friends, and welcome to the another lecture on construction management and law. And today we will see the introduction to the term project. Okay, and as project is coming into the in your mind, you might be thinking about your final year project or mini project. It is not like that. It is something beyond, something far ahead to that. A project is a big activity in the civil engineering, and project is something a generalized term. So we'll restrict ourselves to the concept of civil engineering as told earlier also by me. So in the construction management and law, we have to apply a lot of techniques, skills, knowledge to complete the project. Now what is the project? We'll see. Okay, so basically project is what? To project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service. Project can be large or small and can take a short or long time to complete. See, I can give you example of construction of G+10 building. So it's a project, okay, and it's an endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, construction, unit building, unit structure, unit end to reach to the end user. It is a product or service to be created. Number of people are working together, number of people working together to achieve a goal, to achieve something, to deliver something, to create something, to create service, to create product, to deliver the product, or to create some facility. It is all about a project. Okay, construction of building, construction of road project, construction of Burj Khalifa, construction of Bandra Worli ceiling, Lavasa city, Statue of Unity, all the example of civil engineering big projects, mega projects. It can be small like construction of G+2 house, small project, or long just like just now I have just quoted Burj Khalifa, Statue of Unity, all the things. So it may take a lot of time or short time to complete. This is all about the project. Now there are some project attributes and characteristics. Just like project must have a unique purpose, okay, because we have a number of people in a various hierarchy. They are working to achieve some goal, they have some target, they have to achieve the target, they have to define their objectives. So every project must be defined with the proper objectives, what we have to achieve in a specific timeline. Okay, then each project has a definite beginning and definite end. So every project start on time, it has a proper beginning, it has to end properly, it has to conclude one thing, that whatever we have decided to achieve, whatever objectives we have set, that we have been achieved in a specific time. It requires resources often from various areas. I can give you example regarding that construction of Nagpur metro. In construction of Nagpur metro, you can see we require the environmental engineer, we require geological expert, we require geotechnical engineers, we require structural engineers, even to destruct the things, even to construct the thing, we require manpower, machineries from various areas. So resources from various areas, resource person, knowledge, skill, lot of things we required. Okay, that is the best example of resources. Then we should have a primary customer or a sponsor. So sponsor come under the category of finance. So it might be a personal finance, it might be a government finance, central government, state government, or a public transport or public category. So that will be the sponsor category, and whatever facilities we are creating or whatever structures we are creating, it should be properly pass on to the end user. That is the primary goal of a project. For example, construction of Nagpur metro, construction of railway station, construction of airport, it has to be properly utilized by the end user, properly pass on to the end user. Hospitals, even there are the big projects in civil engineering. So the primary customer or sponsor we should have. Without sponsor, or in simple word we can say without funding, project execution is highly difficult. We require a lot of, as you know, we require a lot of manpower, the skill sets, machineries and things. So it requires funding. And definitely projects involves uncertainties, as you all know that while working in the project we have a number of problems at big level. So imagine the project like Statue of Unity, Bandra Worli ceiling, then Lavasa city, Burj Khalifa and all the things. So it is involved in uncertainty. Okay, so these are the project attributes. Just like unique purpose, it must have proper beginning, ending, the objective should be clearly defined of a project, then primary customer, proper funding, and it must be it involves uncertainty. Now one step another ahead, what is project management? So project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, techniques to a project activities to meet requirements. Just now I have given you the example of Nagpur metro construction. In Nagpur metro construction we have seen a lot of knowledge required from the various areas like geotechnical and soil mechanics, then the bridge engineering, then the railway engineering, then we require the knowledge from the construction, the structure. Even for demolition of the structure we require various skill set. Along with the various knowledge we require advanced tools. We have seen the demolition of Chhatrapati Square, so various tools are involved. Lot of this is all about the application of that technical knowledge, then a lot of skill set, availability of tool, handling of the tool, uses of the tool, then techniques and projects activities to meet the project requirements. So this is all about project management. Now there are categories of project such as national project, international project. In national project, then non-industrial and then industrial, such as non-conventional research and development, then high technology, then conventional technology, and then low technology. So there are categories and types of the project, widely broadly categorized into national and international. Then in the high technology we have mega projects like Burj Khalifa, major projects like we have Bandra Worli Ceiling, the Millennium project, the mini project. Now MSME is one of the sectors undertaken by the government, and we are mostly focusing on the medium, small and micro enterprises. That is the major concern of the government nowadays. Then major project like grassroots level, then expansion and modification, expansion project like normal, crash or disaster. These are the projects, it covers a wide variety, and it covers a wide range of the projects that is undertaken by the civil engineers. Then project life cycle. Okay, basically project life cycle is a collection of project phases that defines what work will be performed in each phase. We have to define each phase, the target of each phase and achievements. As the project manager we have to clearly define the achievable targets. We have to set up small goals and we have to achieve it, then again set up small goals, then achieve them directly. Okay, so these are the skill set, what may be the skill set required, what may be the tools required. So by identifying and assessing it properly, we require to define each phase. Then what deliverable will be product and when. Okay, what is the expected outcome of the project, because the project is interdependent sometimes. Then who needs to be involved in each phase. Okay, then who needs to be involved, what are the, that is all about the identification of skill set and knowledge. Then how management will control and approve the work production in each phase. So basically what is the role of management in the project? As the project manager, who will control and approve the work? The authority has to be decided and work produced in each phase, that we have to ensure. Our deliverable is a product or a service produced or provided as a part of project. As a final end product, for example, completing the G+3 complete building is a deliverable product or service that is produced or provided as a part of project. So G+3 construction, duplex, small bungalow is a part of that deliverable product at the end of the project. Now there are phases of project life cycle as PMOBOK. Right, then first of all you can see in the cycle diagram, you can see that cycle diagram. The project initiation is the first step, then project planning, project execution, project closure. For example, let us say let us consider example of constructing a house. So we need to identify the funding, we need to identify the proper plot, we need to identify resources, then we have to define a lot of things. Then project planning, then planning of the house, sanctioning from the authorities, then hiring the workers, contractors, mason, then project execution, construction, then finishing. This is a cycle, alright, in which project we have to define the project, and detailed planning has to be there. There has to be monitoring and control while the project is going on, and then post implementation review, like a supervisory, that we have to done. Just like conception, initiation, defining, planning, production, acquisition, operation, and divestment or termination. So these are the phases of project. So it can be clearly, the cycle can be clearly understood by the project, by the diagram, such as first one is project initiation, then project planning, then execution, and then closure. In the execution and closure, we have to ensure the proper control, and while going to for planning to execution, we need to understand the detailed planning. Alright, so this is all about the phases of the project life cycle. Now 5 phases of the project life cycle has been defined clearly. First one is project initiation, then project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, and project closure. Just now we have seen, I can say just now we have seen all these phases, so we'll see now one by one. So project initiation, selection of the best project given the resources limit, then recognizing the benefits of the project, then preparation of the documents to sanction the project, and then assigning of the project manager. I can give you one related example to civil engineering. Finalization of the projects, okay, then identifying the profit from the project, preparation of the plan, sanctioning from the authorities, and then hiring the workers, masons, engineers, site engineers. In the planning we have definition of the work requirements, then definition of the quality and quantity of the work, then definition of resources needed, then scheduling of the activities. We need to identify the longest path method, then shortest, here is the application of that. Then we must have evaluation of various risks. We must aware of the possibility of the risk in the project. Now in the project execution, negotiation for the project team members, having qualified staff, and directing and managing the work. We need to allot properly the work, then working of the team members to help them to improve. We need to sometimes provide a training to that. And project monitoring and control is one of the major parameter. While tackling the progress, we must able to solve the small problems while which may occur during the construction process, then analysis and variance and impacts, and then making adjustment, taking decisions, tough calls now, and in the ending project closure, they verifying that all the work has been accomplished. Then contractual closure of the contract, and financial closure, handling the bill, submitting all, and then administrative closure. These are types of closure. First of all, verifying all the work has to be done properly, then contractual closure, after followed by the financial, and finally the administrative closure. These are the 5 phases of the project. Project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring, and project closure. Now conception. The first 3 phases includes determine existing needs, establish system concepts, check technical feasibility, and examine the alternative. In the first 3, project initiation, planning, and execution, we require to identify the existing needs, basic needs, and then to establish a system concept, and finally checking with the feasibility, we have to examine the alternatives. Now we have to set up some alternative, plan B we call in civil engineering. We must have plan B ready. Now it includes the firm identification of human and non-human respectively, details of plan, determination of cost, all the database we should go thoroughly. In production, testing and final standardization of efforts so that operation can begin. Then operation, after production, if the project is marketable product, then this phase includes life cycle phases of market introduction, growth, maturity, and portion of deterioration. And then divestment includes real location and resources. Now followed by the after the project, we need to understand the organization. What is the basic term? Organization is a group of persons working together to achieve a predefined goal. Just now we have seen in the project we are working to achieve some goal. In the project we are working to achieve some objectives defined by the organization. This is all about something that, and defining the delegating and responsibility and authority, then establishing a relationship, that is the main role of the organization. Now importance. What is the importance of organization? A sound organization facilitates both management and operation of the enterprise, stimulates independent creative thinking, permits optimum use of technical and human resource, leads to specialization, minimize corruption and inefficiencies, does not generate confusion, less wastage and expenditure. So absolutely, if we have things properly organized, then it may facilitate both management and operation of the enterprise. It stimulates the independent and creative thinking, promotes the creative thinking, then permits the optimum use of technical and human resources. Specialized things can be executed, then minimize corruption and inefficiencies, and confusion may be avoided with the proper organization, and less wastage and expenditure can be done. Now there are some principles that we will see one by one. I'll read out first for you. Consideration of objectives, the main principle of organization, then relationship of basic components of the organization, then responsibility and authority, then span of control, dividing and grouping work, effective delegation, communication, line and staff relationship, followed by balance, stability and flexibility. So these are the principles of organization, and now we'll see in very briefly, very short. So first one, consideration of objectives. Consider that objectives which increase productivity and improves the quality. And relationship of basic concept of the organization. You can see the line diagram where objectives determine type of work and then decide the selection of personal and physical facilities. So that is the main, very major role in the execution of projects. And responsibility and authority. Responsibility means accountability. Someone we have make accountable for the entire work quality of the work. In civil engineering, in the mega project we have, or in the big project we have quality control department, which is held accountable or which is make responsible for the entire quality of the construction, for example. So let's, authority means right power to act. Even they have powers, they have visits, they have inspections. So that must go together. When the person is authorized, then he is held responsible for the performance. So if found guilty, then strict action necessary needs to be initiated. And then span of control, the number of subordinate number of subordinate that reports to execute, or number of subordinate that an execute can supervise directly, and it may vary from 2 to 20. That is the span of control. Now dividing and grouping the work. As we have seen, the organization and project, that people working together achieve goals. So we have to divide the manpower resources with the proper skill sets, and divisionalization gives a greater sense of responsibility to a person. Then grouping is essential for specialization and coordination. Then effective delegation, then passes down tasks to his subordinates. Then there is a proper flow chart, or proper hierarchy has to be maintained there. Then communication, transmitting instructions and formations within organization and to outside. There has to be proper and transparent way of communication, that passing to guidelines. Then free way to communication. Then line and staff relationship, all activities in two types. First one is primary act, and second is supporting act. In primary act, or line function are directly contribute to the objectives, and in supporting act, staffing function add to line functions. Okay. In last, finally, balance, stability and flexibility. All units should be balanced. Whatever there are sectors, for example, in the construction site of example, the power plant, there is a billing section, execution section, planning section, designing section. So all the units should be balanced. Stability refers to the capacity to withstand the losses, and flexibility specifies to adjust the work assignments. Authority, a very important part. Authority, a very important segment in the project management. Authority means right to command and power to act. Authority means a right to command and power to act. Empower superior to make a subordinate to do the work, and right to make decision, direct the work to others, can allocate the work, can distribute the work, can take the review of the work, can do the inspection. I am talking and taking in terms of civil engineering projects. And then rightful legal power. So authority, once decided, he has a whole and soul power to check the accountability, to assign the work, to take the follow-up and all the things. Now delegation of authority, also very important. Entrustment of responsibility and authority to another, then achieved through dividing his load and sharing his responsibility with others. And man's job grow beyond his personal capacity. Unless and unless you have a delegation of the authority, someone can grow beyond his personal capacity. Responsibility makes you always on the higher side, just like opportunities. There are types of organization. Now I will not go in detail looking towards our limitation of the syllabus. Just we will see the line or military or scalar organization, then functional organization, and line and staff organizations. We have mainly three types of. The advantages of line military is that simple, easy, understand and flexible. Makes clear division of the authorities, strong and discipline, and neglects specialist overload few key execution in small concern. And then functional, the advantage of functional organization is they are since one foreman is responsible for the function, he can perform his duties at a better manner. one task allocated to one person. So use of specialists reduce number of accident wastage, so that can be avoided. The disadvantage is that difficult to maintain discipline as the one foreman is only responsible, so worker maintain confused about the authorities and difficulty to fix up the responsibility application, all the things, and finally line and staff organization. Then line execution market vertically and staff executed are placed horizontally for growing the industry required. Now few advantages like expert advice from specialists are available, then less wastage of material, man hours, then quality of product is improved, then no confusion. And the disadvantage is the cost will increase. Okay, so as the line executive mark vertically and staff executives are placed horizontally along with the growing industries required, so cost may increase, and friction and jealousy as development application used in the medium and larger enterprises. So just now we have seen the entire project, the concepts of project, then project management, then organization type, few advantage, disadvantage. So just now we'll take the recap of all the things what we have seen in the lecture. So here I am taking going backwards in the slides, you can see. So initially we have seen with the project, it's the temporary individual undertake to create product. Then what are the project attributes, it must have objective, resources and all. Then it's application, project management, it's application of knowledge, skill set, tools, techniques. Then categories, national, international, then conventional, unconventional, R&D, high technology, low technology, even in national, international. Okay, then high technology, mega, minor. I have even given the examples to major projects, expansion projects. Then life cycle, then here comes the project initiation, then proper defining, we need to have proper planning, then we need to go with the detailed planning, then starting the execution, while closing we must have proper monitoring and control, and then proper administrative closure. Then 5 phases we have seen there: project initiation, then initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and proper closure. What then we have to begin with the organization, the importance of organization, principles of organization, one by one we have seen, and finally advantages and disadvantages. So here we have just finished up with the basics of what can I say, the projects and organizations. So hope you understand, and thank you very much for your attention, and we'll meet in another lecture. Thank you.